And good morning, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here again on a Saturday morning. It's 9 a.m. on the Mountain Time Zone. It is December 13th, and it is time for our Saturday Science of Mind and Spirit Conversation Series. Very long name. One of these days, I guess we'll find a shorter name for it all. Maybe. I don't know. Just noticed that we accidentally labeled this 12/12/2025. I guess I don't want to leave that 12/12 portal just yet and want to enjoy that day. So today's Saturday the 13th, not Friday the 12th. Oh well, I believe at least. Let me double check. I lose track of days a little bit sometimes. There we go. Yeah, it is the 13th. Dear ones, thanks for being with us. I am so grateful you're here today. If you're watching live and with us live, please feel free to say hello and share your name. Let us know where you are. If you're a regular around this space on Saturday mornings, you know that you're more than welcome to chime in and chat in and chime along and talk along and ask questions and interact as we go. And that usually works best if you're live. However, if you're not live and you're watching this at another time, no worries. Join in the fun. Drop your name in the comment box. Say hello. Let us know how you're doing out there today. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. All right. Quick recap. So here's what happens on this program. If this is your first time with us, we like to talk about the science of mind as written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And we start the book. We start using that book as our video showed you. We start using the book at the beginning of the year. We're already planning for 2026. So if you're wondering, if you're new to the book or new to the science of mind, this is a great time to get started. It's a great day to be here because we'll get started with the book again in January, but that runs out after there's only so many chapters. After so many weeks, we're done exploring the book and we move over to the Science of Mind and Spirit archives and share resources from those archives to help to round out our education, to round out our Saturday morning studies here. So today, what we're doing that is not what's supposed to happen. There we go. That's what's supposed to happen. Today, we're going to talk about, we're going to say good morning first. Good morning, Shay. Good to see you, dear one. Thanks for being with us. Glad you're here. Grateful that you're a part of what we're doing. All right. So today, there's this wonderful little book out there, What Religious Science Teaches. And I'm excited. I haven't read this in forever. Now, it's not that long. We're going to split it into two parts, however, because I am going to be here next week on Saturday morning, which, by the way, will be, for those that maybe keep track, that's a very special day for me. So that'll mark my 59th birthday party. I'm not having a party, but my 59th birthday will be next Saturday. So we're going to go through half of this book today, the first 20 pages of it today. And then we're going to go through the second half of it next week. So if you do not have the book, that's okay. I do believe I put the link in the chat whoops, I did not put the link in the description. I was gonna put the link in the description this morning. Let me see if I can pull that up for you real quick. Here we go. There it is. Robert doing a technological tap dance. And now I've lost my stream. There it is. Okay. I'm going to put the link in the chat box. It's there for you if you want to go grab a copy of that. And if you're a member of the archives, then it's a free download. If you're not a member of the archives, it's an $8 download. And if you're not a member of the archives, well, you should consider it. $10 a month for a basic membership, and that gets you 20 free downloads. So that's this book right there already, and a few more in a month, and it does pay for itself. So I love using the Science of Mind archives. Check that out when you get a chance. Okay. Big, huge thanks for this team that makes all of this possible here on New Thought Media Network, and all of our speakers and our behind the scenes people that make it all work. It's super important. Let's get into it. Let's get into our reading for today. So this is what the Science of Mind teaches. You will see, and there's a little forward here. Religious science is something intelligent to think about and something satisfying to believe in, as well as being something practical to use. Regardless of race, religious affiliation, education, or social status, one may find it in the ways and means to a fuller, they may find it as the ways and means to a richer and fuller life. Sorry, I don't know why that keeps, oh, I think I didn't know. Religious science presents a message of hope, help, and inspiration for its practice and use extends into every form of human experience: health, abundance, harmonious relationships, success, creative activity, and all the other things that make for a good life become accessible. One no longer feels like a hopeless human being tossed about by the currents of life, or has learned that as a divine being, they are the master of their destiny, and proves to themselves that it is done unto one as we believe. The universality of the philosophy of religious science is evidenced by the many references to the great religions of the world found in this book. Now, a quick reminder, I do my best to switch the pronouns on the to eliminate the gender-based language on the go as we go, and sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it feels a little clunky, so stick with me there. All right, so in the very open, I mean, we're not even into the book yet, and we're already into the good stuff. Holmes is helping us, is already forecasting that this is the message. Religious science, as taught through the text, The Science of Mind, will change your life. I know that's true because it's changed my life. And in the coming weeks, you're going to hear about another big change that's coming up. What religious science teaches. Religious science is not a personal opinion. So this is not just what Ernest thought. And that's what I love about our teachers and our philosophers and our folks. It's not just personal opinion. Religious science is not a personal opinion, nor is it a special revelation. It is the result of the best thought of the ages. It borrows much of its light from others, but in so doing robs no one, for truth is universal. Whoops, I forgot to bring the book back up. There it is. I know you guys like reading along. So, universal, but not plagiarism. Synthesis. The Christian Bible, perhaps the greatest book ever written, truly points a way to eternal values. But there are many other Bibles, all of which taken together weave the story of spiritual truth into a unified pattern. All races have had their Bibles, as all have had their religions. All have pointed away to ultimate values, but can we say that any of them has really pointed the way? It is unreasonable to suppose that any one person or race encompasses all truth and alone can reveal the way of life to others. I would encourage New Thought ministers and teachers and leaders to remember this line. I want to write this down. I want to put this one out in the interwebs, and if I do that for everything that's going to say in this book, we're never going to get through 20 pages in a half an hour. So in the next half or more. All races have had their Bibles, as have all religions. All have pointed away to ultimate values, but can we say that any of them has really pointed the way? It is unreasonable to suppose that any one person or race encompasses all truth and alone can reveal the way of life to others. Taking the best from all sources, religious science has access to the highest enlightenment of the ages. Religious science reads every person's Bible and gleans the truth therein contained. It studies all people's thought and draws from each that which is true. Notice that word. Without criticism, without judgment, but by true discrimination, that which is true and provable may be discovered and put to practical use. But that which is false will be revealed and buried. My little addition there. So what is the truth? Where may it be found and how used? How can we use it? These are the questions that an intelligent person asks, or really any person. I get it. All right, we're gonna have to go through and get rid of some of the superiority by Holmes and some of this stuff as well, right? These are the questions that are asked by people all over, and we find our answers in the study of religious science. Shorn of dogmatism, freed from superstition, and always ready for greater illumination. Religious science offers the student of life the best that the world has so far discovered. Religious science. And now I'm going to take that next step and say New Thought. Because Holmes was teaching in the age of where there's still some separation in the New Thought movement. There's still some separation in the New Thought movement. But I want us to realize that religious science is but one aspect of various teachings of a collective teaching that we call New Thought that will say the same. New Thought offers the student of life the best that the world has discovered so far. And sometimes along the way to do that, we present things that, well, feel like the best so far, and then we come to find out aren't. That's okay. It has been well said that religions are many, but capital R, religion is one. The varying faiths of mankind are unencumbered. The varying faiths of mankind are unnumbered, but the primal faith of the race is today, as of old, the one faith, an instinctive reliance upon the unseen, which we have learned to call God. Religion is one, faith is one, truth is one. There is one reality at the heart of all religions, whether their name be Hindu, Mohammedan, Christian, or Jewish. Each of these faiths, limited by its outlook upon life and the universe, evolved its own specific statements of faith called creeds and beliefs, and henceforth was governed by the same. So we all believe in the same thing. We just talk about it differently. It's very, very true. I have, it is in my own prayer work where I speak of God as Allah or Buddha or Brahma or Yahweh or Vishnu or Kuan Yin or Source Energy or Muhammad or whatever name, whatever vision, whatever icon you hold for the divine, that is true for you. And so if there are 8+ billion people on the planet, then there are 8 billion different ways to reach, to connect, to nurture, to what is the word I am looking for here? To cuddle. That's not the word I was looking for, but I'm going to use it. To cuddle with the divine. Think about that self. Think of yourself cuddling with the divine. There is one. So everyone's version of spirituality, of how to approach God, is valid. Even if it feels really weird to me or you. Spiritual experience is always a new thing. It ever seeks to express itself in a new way. The history of religion is a history of a periodic breaking away from the older body and the formulation of a new body of disciplines, disciples, who have come new light and a more satisfying experience. While the universal mind contains all knowledge and is the potential of all things, only as much truth comes to us as we are able to receive. Should all the wisdom of the universe be poured over us, we should yet receive only that which we are ready to understand. Remember that old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears? Should all the wisdom of the universe be poured over us, we should yet receive only that which we are ready to understand. And I would say called to embody. Each draws from the source of all knowledge, that to which one inwardly listens. And that is, I skimmed all this last night. I forgot how rich some of this is. Each draws from the source of all knowledge to that which he or she or they, to which the one inwardly listens. The theme of it all, folks, the theme of all of this, in my now almost 59 full complete years on this planet, I have learned of all things, the central one is listen. Listen more. While universal mind contains all knowledge and is the potential of all things, only as much truth comes to us as we are able to receive. Should all the wisdom of the universe be poured over us, we should yet receive only that which we are ready to understand. Each draws from the source of all knowledge, that to which they inwardly listen. The scientist discovers the principle of their science, the artist taps the essence of beauty, and the saint draws Christ into their being, because to each is given according to their ability to receive. Emerson taught the immanence of God, the spiritual impulse underlying all of life, the divinity of the universe, including mankind, and our message gradually permeated the sodden mass of the accepted theological concepts of the day. He wrought a revolution in religious thinking, the full effect of which we are only beginning to realize in our own time. Yourself, he said, a newborn bard of the Holy Ghost, cast behind you all conformity and acquaint men at first hand with deity. Look to the first and only that tradition or custom. Authority, all are not bandages over your eyes so that you cannot see. Let me admonish you first of all to go alone, to refuse good models, even those sacred in the imagination of men. Dare to love God without mediator and without veil. The central principle of the teaching of religious science is the immanence of God. God is an eternal and everlasting essence. All phenomena appearing in the natural world are manifestations of the spiritual world, the world of causes. Our thought is an instrument of divine mind. Christ is the reality of everyone, our true inner self. Christ is the unseen principle in human. God is in the human. The whole universe is the manifestation of a unity, which means humans call God, which human call God. Religious science believes sincerely in what is known as the silence. There's that listening again. That is, it accepts the teachings of Jesus that the kingdom of God is within. Now, I want us all to remember, there is no question religious science is born of a Christian tradition. It is born and bred out of the Christian traditions. And Holmes, like so many others and contemporaries, truly relied on the teachings of Jesus and the Bible. And, you know, we're coming up on 80 years, 60, 65 years since the man was on the planet. In that time, a lot has changed. And a lot of community centers, the New Thought movement itself has the pendulum has shifted. And oh wow, this just came through. It's not a pendulum back and forth straight, right? Even a pendulum has an arc to it. And the arc over the last 65 years has gotten larger, has gotten broader, has gotten wider, that it encompasses so much more, that the story of Jesus is not as well known and not as well studied by the younger generations of today, and therefore is not a valid analog, is not a valid connector for many people. It's not that we don't teach it. It's just that we don't talk about teaching it. We talk about teaching oneness. We talk about teaching new thought. Believing that the universal spirit comes to fullest consciousness. This is at the bottom of the page here. Whoops, let me bring you. Believing that the universal spirit comes to fullest consciousness in the human as our innermost self, and that's a capital S self, which denotes the divine, we strive to cultivate the inner life, knowing that religious certainty is a result of an impact of God upon the soul. An impact of God upon the soul. Like the Methodists of old, we seek the witness of the inner spirit. We call this becoming Christ consciousness or God consciousness, meaning by that soul certainty. What is soul certainty? How do we know? How are we certain about it, right? How do we really, really know soul certainty? I have my answer. I like to vision. You all know that. If you know me, you know I'm up to my eyeballs gaga over the visioning process, because over time, the visioning process, this isn't, I hate to say, all right. Let's rewind 5 seconds. There we go. And I love the visioning process, because over so many years now, it has revealed to me a greater truth as we speak about it. Sometimes I'm not ready to listen to that truth. Holmes talked about that earlier in this book. Sometimes I'm not ready to act upon that truth. But I have my soul, I have my human has come to know with a certainty my soul's mission: to love and be loved. To love and be loved. And if what I'm doing or what I'm about isn't coming out of that soul certainty, that's that sense of deep assurance that I am fulfilling my soul's mission here on this planet, my soul's purpose for being on this planet, in this body temple, that certainty to me is reinforced through my spiritual practice, and for me, most especially through the visioning practice. What practice is it for you? What practice is it for you that no matter what, you're tapping into your soul's call? That deep inner calling for your soul's work. Drop it in the comments. What's the practice? What's your practice? For me, it's visioning. Plain and simple. I can get there in a prayer, and I'll go there, and I'll get there in a meditation, and I'll go there, and I listen to various channels, and I listen to various meditations, and I listen to all kinds of meditators, and and I fill my environment with a reminder of it all. But when I'm listening for my soul, right, and all that reminds me of principle. It reminds me of how people practice. It reminds me of where I can do better. But when I'm listening to my soul deeply, love and beloved, it's a rich, rich universe. The purpose of religious science. Oh, we're only 4 pages in. We're not making it all the way to today, folks. We're not making it to 20 pages today. The purpose of religious science. In its practice and teachings, religious science endeavors to include the whole life. It is not a dreamy, mystical cult, but the exponent of a vigorous gospel applicable to everyday needs of our common life. Indeed, this is the one distinctive tenet of its teachings that accounts for its rapid growth. People find it in a message that fits in with their daily needs. The conventional idea of the future life with its teachings of rewards and punishments is not stressed. The gospel is the good news far the here and now. Religion, it says, if it means anything, means right living. And right living and right thinking wait upon no future, but bestow their rewards in this life, in better health, happier homes, and all that makes for a well-balanced and for. I'm pretty sure that one's a typo, not just me fumbling the old language. That makes for a well-balanced, normal life. The following is a brief statement of belief of the Institute of Religious Science. Let's remember this was all created before we had the Church of Religious Science, before we had the United Church or Religious Science International or United Centers for Spiritual Living or International Centers for Spiritual or Centers for Spiritual Living. This is early in Holmes's work as, and you're going to learn a brief statement. Yeah. The universe, but here's the challenge. So here's our game. Here's let's do it this way. Let's have a little fun with this today. If I read something that you don't agree with, if anything, any of these points I'm going to read through, if any of these things, because we could spend the next several weeks discussing all of these and giving examples, and here's how it works. I want you to do 2 things. I want you to look within yourself and ask yourself, where have I experienced this? Have I experienced this? Have I had an experience of this? And if you haven't, and if you believe that this is bunk, if you think that, no, wait, shout it out in the chat box. If you can't agree, if you feel like that's not right, nope, that ain't how it works, Robert, put it in the chat box. Not so that we can debate, but so that we can look at what could help us to make this real, because it's powerful stuff. The universe is fundamentally good. Period. No explanation necessary. No justification. No example. The universe is fundamentally good. Humanity is a manifestation of spirit, and for it to desire evil for humanity would be for it. Remember, this it is God here. So human is a manifestation of spirit, and for spirit to desire evil upon human would be for spirit to desire evil for itself. This is unthinkable and impossible. For it, spirit, God, would cause spirit to be self-destructive. And therefore, we may be certain that the spirit of life is for and not against the human. Life is for you. And if you ever feel that life is against you, that's not the truth. Life is for you. This is the logic behind it all. An apparent evil is the result of ignorance and will disappear to the degree that it is no longer thought about, believed in, or indulged in. Evil is not a thing in itself. It has no entity and no real law to support it. God is love. And love can have no desire other than to bless all alike and to express itself through all. Many that had lost faith in God have, in this new manner of thinking, found what their souls had sought. The emphasis is insistently on God, ever present, ever available, and on humanity's ability to make themselves receptive to the inflow of the divine spirit. We got to listen to be receptive to the inflow. In essence, this was the primal message of the enlightened prophets of all the ages, and this is the message of religious science. God is ever present. God is ever available. The totality of the oneness is as near as the very next breath, and it all hinges on our ability to be receptive, to the inflow of divine spirit, to the workings of divine spirit. Now, divine spirit takes some strange ways of doing its work in our lives sometimes. I got some stories. I'm sure you do too. And yet, when we remember at the very back of it all, well, what did it say at the beginning of our piece here? The beginning of this page? The universe is fundamentally good. When we remember that the universe is fundamentally good, we let go of these places where we forget, where we slip into thinking that there is something or someone that is evil. Now, the reason Voldemort was the one who shall not be named is because that was New Thought saying, don't name the false appearance of evil. It's everywhere, folks. The thought of the ages has looked to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. Holmes used this line in a number of places, especially early on. The thought of the ages has looked to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible. That would imply the scientific, coming from the scientific. When the science and religion shall walk hand in hand from the visible form, what we are, what we can touch and see, into the invisible. That which is yet to be known. That is what we are discovering. A movement which endeavors to unify the great conclusions of human experience must be kept free from petty ideas, from personal ambitions, and from any attempt to promote one man's opinion. That's why we said earlier in this book that this is not a thing of opinion, of human opinion. Science knows nothing of opinion, but recognizes a government of law whose principles are universal, not human laws, mind you. A government of law whose principles are universal. These laws, when complied with, respond alike to all. Gravity. Religion becomes dogmatic and often superstitious when based on the lengthening shadow of anyone's personality. Philosophy intrigues us only to the extent that it sounds a universal note. Was Plato the only one to speak or read in his age? Was Socrates the only one who thought and wrote in his age? No. In their times, no. But both and so many since have been, and Holmes is one of those who I believe gave what they, without this sense of the needing to enlighten or aggrandize the self, but did the work for the collective, for the whole. Science, these laws, when complied with, respond alike to all. Religion becomes dogmatic and often superstitious when based on the lengthening shadow of any one personality. Philosophy intrigues us only to the extent that it sounds a universal note. You know it. You hear it. Right? How's it? I'll know it when I see it. I'll see it when I know it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll see it when I believe it. There are times where we just know that's the truth. There it is, right there in front of me. And there are times when we know what isn't. Our discernment is important here. The ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, the beatitudes. Is that how you say that? The ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, the beatitudes of Jesus, together with the spiritual experiences of other great minds, constitute viewpoints of life which must not be overlooked. The mystical concepts of the ancient sages of China keep faith with the sayings of Emerson, and wherever deep cries unto deep, deep answers deep. All humans seek some relationship to the universal mind, the oversoul, or the eternal spirit, which we call God. That we are living in a spiritual universe, which includes the material or physical universe, has been the conclusion of most of the deepest thinkers of the ages. That this spiritual universe must be one of pure intelligence and perfect life, dominated by love, by reason, and by the power to create, is an inevitable conclusion. Science, philosophy, intuition, and revelation all must unite in an impersonal effort if truth is to be gained and held. Ultimately, that which is true will be accepted by all. Ultimately, that which is true will be accepted by all. The promise is right there. And he goes on, the Institute of Religious Science is an educational and a religious movement and endeavors to coordinate. There's a one of Holmes's famous sayings. I'll see if I have it in the banners to pull it up for you. The Institute of Religious Science is an educational as well as religious movement and endeavors to coordinate the findings of science, religion, and philosophy to find a common ground upon which true philosophical conclusions, spiritual intuitions, and mystic revelations may agree with the cold facts of science, thus producing fundamental conclusions, the denial of which is not conceivable to a rational mind. Holmes just goes sometimes like, oh my gosh. I want to look. And so here's the earlier versions. Here's what becomes the later version and what most would point to. Religious science is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and the revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. He's saying it in a whole lot of other words over here. What wonder what religious faith in our day is breaking from the narrow bounds of past teaching and expanding both in breadth and depth. It is not because humans believe less in God and the true essentials of spiritual life, but because they must believe more. They are literally forced by the inevitable logic of fact to build for themselves concepts of the infinite commensurate with the greatness and glory of the world in which they live. Yes. And in so many ways, that need not happen in a physical room on a Sunday morning. It's just the truth, though. We are coming to greater and greater, that breadth and depth. The spiral is moving outward. We are living in liminal space at a time when humanity is evolving away from our 3D concept of life and evolving, moving, growing into a 5D understanding of how all of this works. A little bit more we're going to get through before I'm going to run out of time here today. The religious implication of this new viewpoint of life are revolutionary. It means that there is a moral and spiritual order in the cosmos to which mankind is intimately related. Faith in God is not, as many would have us believe, a retreat from reality, a projecting of the personal wish into a cosmic postulate. Faith in God is a reasonable expanding of the facts of life to their wisest and inevitable vision and logical end. This is how it has to happen. It is the logical complement of a world order, every fiber of which has a teleological meaning. Religious faith, in fact, is rooted in the facts and the realities of the natural order, in it into the very imra, into the wow. He did use some words, didn't he? Inra, into the very texture of life. Since supreme wisdom and life are in reality all that exists, including man, religious faith is but deep calling unto deep. God recognizing its own existence and presence. Woo! Yippee-ki-yay! I want to. I just realized that this is fun, and we're going to leave this for here, and we're going to see how far we get next week in part 2. But this has been, when you think about it, there's a lot here, and if you want to go back and watch this one again and skip over the parts where I'm talking and just pause and read through these pieces, the religious implications of this viewpoint in life are revolutionary. Holmes felt that this viewpoint was revolutionary. It means that there is a moral and spiritual order in the cosmos to which humankind is intimately related. Intimately related. I love the imagery. Because isn't there anything, what is a greater delivery of the promise that we have all held secretly or aloud, understood or misunderstood our whole lives? I believe we have wanted that intimate relationship with the divine, with truth, with the absolute truth. The desire of all of humanity's life, all of our experience is that intimate. And when we have it, we do that. That's when the really good work gets done. Faith in God is not, as many would have us believe, a retreat from reality or a projection of a personal wish into a cosmic field. Faith in God is not a retreat from reality. It is bringing that divine into our reality. We must not sit and wish a personal wish into the cosmic postulate. Faith in God is a reasonable expanding of the facts of life. Look at that. Faith in God is a reasonable expanding of the facts of life to their wisest and inevitable vision and logical end. It is the logical complement of a world order, every fiber of which has a teleological theology. I think that might be a misspelling and should be theological meaning. Religious faith, in fact, is rooted in the facts and realities of a natural order. Since supreme wisdom and life are in reality all that exists, including the human, religious faith is but deep calling unto deep, God recognizing its own existence and presence. And as we learned throughout already in this chapter, we can call God anything we want. I got a friend in Texas likes to call God George. That's her name. When she's having a conversation with the intimate, with the divine, when she's having her time, right? Now she doesn't walk around in public preaching George, but in her experience, in her life, in her world, she calls it George. You can call it anything you want. God, Buddha, Brahma, Yahweh, Allah, Vishnu, Kuan Yin, Source Energy, Divine One, Divine Mother, Father Time, Planet Earth, Gaia, Spirit, George. What's important is that you call it. You call it by name. You call it into your life. You open it and you listen. Far too many prayers that I hear are based on telling God what we need and what we want. I believe the central tenet of our practice is to listen more, to listen more deeply, and allow that that essence of the soul to reveal itself. Let ourselves catch that Christ consciousness in our soul's calling, in our wisdom, in the wisdom that is calling us forward. Might take more than 2 weeks to get through this book. That's only 6 pages. But aren't they fun? Again, I left the we'll drop it again just in case. There's the link in the comments to today's book. It's available on the Archives website. If you're a member, as a free download. If you're not a member, it's $8 for the book. And if you are a member, which is only $10 a month, you get 20 downloads a month. So you would get that book and up to 19 more downloads in the month of December if you were to get a membership to the Science of Mind Archives. They're good people. Good work happening there on behalf of Ernest Holmes and the Science of Mind philosophy. All right, I'm Dr. Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now. It's a beautiful Saturday. I wish you all the best. I hope you have a great day doing whatever it is you're doing. Do remember to bring the divine into your human, as Holmes teaches us in this text today. Bring the divine of who you are into your human experience. And together, we're creating heaven on earth. I got to go. Till next time, I wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.